Thank you very much for joining. Sorry we could not have our session on Monday. So let us come to the fourth part of our presentation, the fourth and final part, the movements of the planets known as Vedic planetarium. So till now we have seen who is there, what is where, what are the facilities and surroundings, activities, etc. etc. Now finally let us see some practical things like all the planets which are located at various places in the Bhuvarloka, Sargaloka, how they are revolving around pole star or Mount Meru. So that is the subject matter. So we'll be referring from these chapters 21, 22, 23, 24 here and there, few shlokas, in order to understand the subject matter of the movement of various planetary systems. So this entire thing is made just to follow the letter of Srila Prabhupada, wherein he has mentioned that now our PhDs must collaborate and study the fifth canto to make a model for building the Vedic planetarium. My final decision is that the universe is just like a tree with root upwards. Just as a tree has branches and leaves, so the universe is also composed of planets which are fixed up in the tree, like the leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Here Prabhupada is referring to that 15th chapter, first sloka, Urdhva Moola Madhashakam. So with respect to that. So now all you PhDs must carefully study the details of the fifth canto and make a working model of the universe. If we can explain the passing seasons, eclipses, phases of the moon, passing of day or night, etc., then it will be very powerful propaganda. So Prabhupada wanted, express his desire in one of the letters unto His Holiness Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. Later on he became sannyasi. So that these four things should be explained, at least the day and night, the phase of the moon, eclipses and seasons. So in this presentation, we try to just briefly touch upon these things based on our little understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what the TVOP team is trying to come up in the future. Very soon they are going to have this in Mayapur. So now, taking reference from various shlokas from various chapters from 21, 24, we'll try to see what exactly Bhagavatam is trying to explain to us. Orbit. Just as the bulls move around the central post, the planets and luminaries move around the pole star in clockwise direction, being turned by Dakshinavruta Pravaha wind. So Bhagavatam gives an example. So in the villages, when the rice paddy is being cut, in order to separate the grains from the rice paddy, either buffaloes or three buffaloes or three bulls are tied together and they are made to move in a circular fashion. They continue to move in their respective position, or they don't deviate here and there. So like that, the planets and luminaries move around pole star, being fixed in their respective orbit without deviating. Yatasthanam mandalani charanti akalpantam parichin kramanti. For the whole day of Brahma, they made to move in the clockwise direction. That is being indicated here. Just like clouds or eagles float in the wind, being pushed by wind, or float in the sky, being pushed by wind and past their past karma. Similarly, the planets being pushed by their matter, the Lord and their past karmas, they are made to revolve around pole star. So being assisted by karma, they do not fall to ground. Even while floating in the air, the clouds and the eagles does not fall down to earth. Similarly, while floating in the air, moving around pole star, the planets also do not fall down. And their movement is controlled by their karma. That's what is called karma sarataya. Their own karma acts like the sarathi for their movement. And they are constantly propelled by Parvartaka Pravaha wind. There is a kind of wind which is making them to move in the clockwise direction day in, day out. That is being indicated. And what is pole star? Pole star is the abode of Lord Vishnu and the residence of Maharaj Dhruva, son of Uttanapada. Established by the Supreme Lord, acts as the pivot for all the luminaries, planets and constellations. And they all rotate. They means the luminaries, planets and constellations, they all rotate constantly around Dhruvaloka by Lord's inconceivable energy, inconceivable force, avyakta ramasa. So dakshinata kriyamanam idanim. They continue to rotate in the clockwise direction, just like we do parikrama in the morning around Tulsi Maharani, something like that. And this Dhruva constantly shines without being moved. Dhruva is fixed and remaining all are moving around him. So he is positioned at one place. So like this. Here we have the pole star, remaining all being connected to pole star, they are revolving around. The connection is called as Vata Rashmi. In Surya Siddhanta, it is a rope made up of wind. It is called Vata Rashmi. So this is our universe about which we discussed elaborately. This is the upper part of the universe in which we have all these things. So now we are going to discuss about the movement of these planets which are there in the Bohrloka and Sargaloka. The 9 planets, Rahu, Ketu and Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all the way up to pole star. How all these different people are revolving around pole star. That is our subject matter. So that Avyakta Ramasa, the inconceivable force of the Supreme Lord, that is translated as zodiac belt or Kala Chakragata. So that is being explained next. Lord divides himself into 12 forms and 6 seasons. So this form of the Lord is known as Kala Chakragata or time wheel. It is Kala Chakra or time wheel, that way you can say. And the time wheel consists of 12 spokes, 6 rims and 3 hubs. So this time wheel contains 12 spokes, 6 rims and 3 hubs. And thus, traveling along with the Kala Chakragata, along with the time wheel, the sun enjoys 12 months traveling in an orbit known as Samvatsara. Through time, the Supreme Law regulates our actions and experience of different seasons. Karma Virishuddhi Nimittani. For what purpose? In order to purify our existence, in order to purify our karma, purify the reactions of our karma, results of our karma. So by the way, traveling in this Kala Chakra, enjoying the 12 months, the sun gives us different activities that need to be performed in different seasons. And different experiences also we have based on different seasons. In a year, we have 6 seasons and 6 kinds of different experiences we go through. And in each and every season, the people in general, we have different type activities to perform. Of course, from the modern day context, all of us are working outside in the companies. So it's the same work throughout the year. But in the village atmosphere, the villagers who are into agriculture and other things, they have different activities to do in different seasons. Pavrutti Nivrutti Nimittani Samaya Visheshana. So in order to engage us in a particular activity at a particular time, and in order to stay away from those activities at another particular time, the divisions of time have been made by the Lord by expanding himself into the Kala Chakra. So that throughout the year, there are so much variation that is only for the purpose of Pravrutti and Nimrutti. So in some seasons, we take up some activities. In other seasons, we stop those activities and take up another set of activity. So such kind of things are ordained by the Supreme Lord. So this is Kala Chakra, which has got 12 spokes and also 6 rims and 3 hubs. So this hub on one hub only, but in a year is divided into 3 parts and 4 months combined together is called as one hub. So in that way it is taken. So this Kala Chakra continuously revolves in a clockwise direction and takes along with it all the planets. The planets, all the 9 planets and all the nakshatras, constellations, everything will move around this along with this Kala Chakra. So this is called Avyakta Ramasa, the inconceivable force of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this traditional bullock cart wheel, which has got 12 spokes and 6 rims, we can clearly see here. So these are the 12 spokes and these are the 6 rims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so like that. The 12 spokes are corresponding to 12 zodiac signs or 12 rashis, starting with Mesha, Vrushabha, Mithuna, Karka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishika, Dhanu, Makara, and Kumbha. These are the 12 rashis corresponding to 12 spokes of the time wheel, and 2 rashis combined together makes 1 season. Thus, we have 6 seasons in a year. So this Kala Chakra continuously revolves around So it is like that. So this is the Kala Chakra, the 12 Rashis along with their symbols. There is another Kala Chakra, 12 Rashis along with their symbols, which continuously revolves around it in clockwise direction throughout the day of Brahma. So what is the meaning of these Rashis? Rashi is nothing but a group of stars which appear to be like a particular species. So whichever species they resemble, they are that group of stars are named as that particular Rashi. For example, here some few stars appears to be like a scorpion. So they are called as Scorpio or Vrushchika Rashi. Appears to be like a Vrushchika Rashi. And here you can see this group of stars appears to be like a lion. That's what it is called as Leo or Simha Rashi. So something like that. So how they appear, the group of stars combined together. So based on that, the name is given to those respective group of stars. And they are all combined together. It's called Kala Chakra. And that Kala Chakra is being revolving in a clockwise direction day in, day out for the entire day of Brahma. Same thing we can see here. So now the constellations are said to be superimposed upon this Kala Chakra. So we have seen about this slide also. So there are 28 nakshatras along with Abhijit. So 27 are Daksha's daughters and Abhijit the 28th one. And being inspired by the Lord, the 28 nakshatras move along with the Kala Chakra in clockwise direction. So and then each nakshatra is divided into 4 parts. They are called as 4 dandas or 4 padas. So and Abhijit, whenever it is not visible always, but whenever he is visible, he comes in between Ashada and Shravana. That is being said. And some interesting information. Lord Brahma is said to be the Lord of Nakshatras, the supervisor of Nakshatras, the overseer of the movements of the Nakshatras. He is called Nakshatra Purusha. And Soma, who is Lord Brahma's expansion, is directly the husband of the 27 daughters of Daksha who are residing in this 27 nakshatras. That is his direct connection with the nakshatras, you can see. And Lord Shiva is said to be the Lord of Grahas and is also called as Kala Purusha. And we see in all over India, every traditional temple of Lord Shiva, we have the Navagrahas in one corner. So if there is any problem with the Navagrahas, people go and do parikrama around it, then come to Lord Shiva's deity and then offer prayers. So by the blessings of Lord Shiva, one can be freed from the effect of 9 grahas. So he is called Graha Purusha. He is the presiding deity of all the grahas. So then Lord Vishnu is Rashi Purusha. He is the Lord of the zodiac. He is expanding himself as Kala Chakra. So Kala Chakra is himself only. So he is the Lord, the worshipable deity of 12 Rashis. So this is how the 3 deities play their respective roles in the matter of universal maintenance. Then how these constellations are situated on the zodiac belt, how they are superimposed along with the 12 Rashis. So we have Mesha Rashi, Vrishabha, Mithuna, etc. etc. So starting with Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika. These are the 4 padas of the Ashwini and the 4 padas of Bharani. Out of 4 padas of Kritika, 1 pada is here and the remaining gone here. So because there are 27 nakshatras and 12 Rashis. 27 divided by 12, it will be 2.25. 12 2 are 24, remaining is 3. 3 by 12, it becomes 0.25 each. So 2.25 will be in 2.25 nakshatras will be in 1 zodiac sign. So 2 full nakshatras and 1/4 of 3rd nakshatra is here. The 3/4 of this nakshatra and 4 parts of the next nakshatra and 2 parts of the 3rd nakshatra. So like that, they are situated one after the other. All the 27 nakshatras are kind of had their place in these 12 Rashis. And this is a permanent fixture. They don't change here and there. All 12 Rashis and 27 nakshatras combined together move around continuously. So here you can see, this is the first Rashi. In this Rashi, this is the first nakshatra, this is second nakshatra, and in the 3rd nakshatra, 1/4 is here and 3/4 is here. and this is fourth nakshatra. In the fifth nakshatra, half is here and another half is here. And this is sixth nakshatra, seventh nakshatra, 3/4 is here, 1/4 is here. This is eighth nakshatra, ninth nakshatra. Here it ends. And again, a new set starts. And that ends here. Again, new set starts. Like that, the 27 nakshatras are superimposed upon the 12 rashis, and both of them together revolve. Here you can see. This is how the entire Kala Chakra revolves continuously. The 27 nakshatras and 12 rashis combined together is called Kala Chakra. Of course, Kala Chakra means 12 rashis only, but we can also superimpose all the 20 nakshatras and both combined together moves like all together. This is Kala Chakra. And here we have Purvashada, Uttarashada, and Shravana. And in Shravana, there are 4 parts. In Uttarashada, 4 parts. In Purvashada, also 4 parts. So whenever Abhijit comes, he comes in between Uttarashada and Shravana. And out of 4 parts, Purvashada will give 1 part to Abhijit. And Uttarashada will also give 1 part to Abhijit. And Shravana also will give 1 part to Abhijit. Thus, Purvashada will have 3 parts. Uttarashada will have 3 parts. Abhijit will have 3 parts. And Shravana will have 3 parts. So this is how all these 4 nakshatras kind of interarrange their respective area without disturbing others. And when he disappears, again Purvashada becomes 4 padas, Uttarashada becomes 4 padas, Shravana becomes 4 padas. So this is the Kala Chakra. We have 12 nakshatras on the outer circle and 27 nakshatras on the inner circle. The sun travels on the orbit of 12 nakshatras, 12 rashis, and the moon travels on the orbit of 27 nakshatras. This is their direct connection because moon is the direct husband of the 12 nakshatras. The sun is traveling rashi after rashi, one after the other. So now let us see how Bhagavatam is explaining about the formation of day and night, how day and night is happening. Yen madhyagato bhagavam stapatam patis tapana atapena trilokim pratapati avabhasati atma vasha. Being situated in the middle of Antariksha, the sun heats up and lights up the 3 planetary systems. And he travels around, located just above Manasuttara mountain, passing through the 4 residential quarters that are located on top of Manasuttara Parvat. Manasottara Giri Parivarta Nasyopadishanti. So what is the circumference of the Manasuttara mountain? 9,51 lakh or 95.1 million yojanas. That is the circumference of the entire Mount Meru. And sun travels above this Manasuttara mountain every day. This is the circumference, 95.1 million yojanas. And in every 15 Gatikas or 6 hours, the sun covers this much distance. So 1/4 of this total number is around this much. That much he covers in every 6 hours. And in 4 times, he kind of covers total distance. So basically, Yada Chandra Purvya Prachalate Panchadasha Gatigadibir Yamayam Sapada Koti Dvayam Yojananam Sarda Dwadasha Lakshani Sadikani Chopayanti. Basically, in 15 Gatikas, the sun goes from Indra's abode to Yama's abode. That is distance, this much distance. So like that, Evam Tato Varunam. Then from Yama's abode, he goes to Varuna's abode. From there to Soma's abode. From there again he comes to Indra's abode. Like that he completes 1 revolution in 24 hours. So this is Manasuttara mountain. And here we have sun. This is the chariot wheel of the sun. This is the axle connected to the base of Mount Meru. And traveling in a circular fashion, he goes from Indra's abode to Yama's abode in 6 hours. Yama's abode to Varuna's abode in another 6 hours. Other 6 hours, Soma's abode. In another 6 hours, again Indra's abode. So we have discussed about all these things. So of course, this is our Jambudipa, Mount Meru, etc. Here is Bharatakanda, and everything being spoken here is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. That is all about the place where they are situated. with respect to the place where they are there. For Shukatal, east is this side, west is this side, south is this side, and north is this side. But true north is above, toward the north pole, and true south is below, toward the south pole. That is supposed to be remembered. Same thing we can see here also. The true north is towards north pole, true south is towards south pole, and with respect to Shukatal, this is east, this is west, this is south, and this is north. And this is Bhartakanda. From Bhartakanda, there is a connection to pole star. This is the center of their orbit. So keeping this at the center, the planet, sun, moon, and other planets will revolve around it. So that is how we have to see. So as you see from the top, this is the entire Bhumandala, and here is Jambudvipa. As you see from the front, this is the entire Bhumandala. It appears to be like this. And this is Mansutar mountain. In 4 directions, we have 4 townships: Devadani, Samyamani, Nimlochani, and Vibhavari. So when sun is here, this part of the Bhumandala is dark, and this part of the Bhumandala is bright. Same way here also, this is bright, this is dark. As sun travels in 6 hours, this is how the day and night keeps varying. So when sun is here, this part of the Bhumandala is bright. And when sun comes here, this part is bright. When sun comes this side, this part is bright. When sun goes here, this part is bright. When sun goes here, this part is bright. So here also we can see how things are varying. When sun is here, this part is bright. Here the front, this side, back side, and again front side. So this is how generally it happens. The sun travels in the clockwise direction around pole star. In 15 Gatikas, he goes from here to here. Another 15 Gatikas here to here. Another 15 Gatikas, another 15 Gatikas. Like that, in 24 hours, he makes one complete round. The wise teach about the sunrise, noon, sunset, and midnight in the 4 cities above Mansuttara for the purpose of engaging and disengaging people in work according to their particular times. They also teach about the 4 directions of Mount Meru. When it rises in the city, it sets in the city diametrically opposite. When sun is rising in one city, for example, this is the Jambudvipa. If sun is here, when sun is here, it is rising in this city. So when sun is rising in the city, it will set in the city. And when sun shines in perspiration at noon in the city, when sun is here, it will be noon in this place. So it is perspiring there. It will be midnight in this opposite city in the diametrically opposite side. So that is how it is indicated. The arrangement for rising, setting, midday, and midnight according to the different varshas. Where the sun rises, if sun is rising here, simultaneously it sets at, if sun is rising here, when sun is here, it is rising here, and simultaneously it sets in the city opposite. And when the sun is in the middle of the sky, after 15 Gatikas or 6 hours, causing perspiration, after 6 hours, sun comes from here to here. So it will be midday in the Bharata Varsha and causing perspiration. At the opposite point, it is midnight. So here it will be midnight. In Uttarakuru Varsha, it will be midnight. Wherever the sun is seen to rise, it is noon in the Varsha to the east. So, for example, when sun is here, if it is seen to be rising in Bharata Varsha, the eastern Varsha will be midnight, and the Varsha in the west will be sunset. And midnight to the Varsha in the west. In the west side, whichever Varsha that is midnight, and to the Varsha in the north, it will be sunset. So like that. When it is noon, it is sunset in the eastern Varsha, sunrise in the western, midnight in the north. Of course, we'll see in the picture. You see here. We'll discuss now everything with respect to Bhartakanda. Here we have India. This is North Pole, as you see from the top. The modern scientists say that the Earth is revolving in the counterclockwise direction. As a result of which, we have all the day and night throughout the surface of the Earth. So here is India, and for Indian, this is for us, this is East. So here we have Earth globe. Here is India, and here only Shukatal is there. Taking that as a reference, sun is here now. Let us see. When sun is here, this part of the Earth is bright, and this part of the Earth is dark. And here in India, we have sunrise. And here in Japan, for example, we take not exactly Japan, but some place which is close to this place. We'll take it to Japan. and here Africa, here America, like that we can take. So when sun is here we have sunrise, and here people will have midday, and here people will have sunset, and here people will have midnight. After 6 hours, when sun comes from here to here we have midday, and here they will have sunset, here they will have midnight, here they will have sunrise. After 6 hours, we will have sunset, and here they will have midnight, here they will have sun rising, here it is noon. After 6 hours, we will have midnight, here sunrise, here midday, and here sunset. After another 6 hours, same original situation. We have sunrise, they will have noon, they will have sunset, and they will have midnight. This is how, with every revolution, the sun is causing day and night for different people all over the surface of the earth. See, when sun is here, this part of the earth will be bright because sunlight is falling here, and this part of the earth will be dark. The modern scientists say that the sun is stationary and earth is revolving around itself in the counterclockwise direction. As a result of that, they say day and night is happening. But Bhagavatam understanding is earth is stationary, but sun is revolving in the clockwise direction. As a result of that, on the surface of the earth, at any given point of time, half of it is bright and other half is dark. This is how the day and night is happening as per Srimad Bhagavatam. Evam tato varunam saumyam aindram cha punas tatane cha grahaha somadayo nakshatrai saha jyotis chakre samabhyudayanti janti sahava nimlochati. Just like sun is rising and setting while moving around along with the Kala Chakra, similarly other planets and constellations and nakshatras also, which are moving around along with the Kala Chakra around pole star, also rise and set at regular intervals. The same principle can be applied to all other luminaries, the constellations, nakshatras, and what we can say, grahas. So it is like that. So here is a small animation about day and night. So Kala Chakra is moving and taking the sun along with it, and as a result of it, on the earth gradually the day portion is gradually changing and night portion also gradually changing on the other side. At any given point of time, half of the earth globe is bright, other half is dark. So previously at the beginning point, India was experiencing sunrise. Now it is noon, and gradually sun is going ahead. Now we are having late afternoon. It's like that. Now Africa is going to have noon time, America is going to have sunrise, and India is going to have sunset. Now it is sunset in India, sunrise in the America. And as it goes further, the daytime is increasing in America and nighttime is advancing in India. And very soon Africa will have sunset and Japan will have sunrise. So this is how a day happens. I'll request you to see once again. So this time, see two things. This is the top view as you see is on the top, and this is the front view. As you go in front of India, go into the sky, but you are standing in front of India and see how it is. So the front view, how slowly the bright portion is gradually increasing. Now whole India can be seen full bright. So like that. This is the front view. This is the top view. Now sun is exactly almost above India. And gradually it goes that side. And slowly this portion of Earth globe is getting slowly dark. Now the American side of the Earth globe is completely bright, and this side is completely dark. Sun is exactly on the other side. And then gradually moving this side, slowly the bright portion is increasing. So this is how the day and night happens around. So just a simple understanding. For a person standing on the North Pole is standing like this. Person standing on the line of equator is standing like this. So this is how sun moves. This person will have an experience of sun going above his head, but this person will have the experience of sun is always moving around him. Sun is circumambulating him. So always. Same way, if you go a little bit tilted, so this person has come to the 60th degree and this person has come to the 30th degree. And this person will see the person who is there on the 60th degree latitude. You will see that, okay, the sun is revolving like this. And this person will see sun is revolving like this. So both of them will have the sun's movement with this person has little lesser inclination. You see that very side close to him is moving, but he sees that sun is moving very far, but still inclination. And similarly, and when this person comes to 30th degree and this person goes to 60th degree, he will experience sun is moving like this, more or less. Here it was like purely horizontal, horizontal but little inclined, and it is almost vertical. And finally, when this person comes to the line of equator, he sees sun is traveling vertical only. So these are the experiences that we have at different places on the surface of the earth. So this is how we are experiencing day and night all over earth. So it is like this. So is it clear? All of you are able to follow?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In terms of the directions, like for example, I am facing in India, I'm in India. For me, onto my right, as what I see in this map, is the eastern direction. So
for an Indian, this is east.
Correct.
And this is west.
Correct. So for
an African, when sun is this side, that is east.
Okay.
For an African person, this is east. Okay, I will go to the back one picture. Yeah. In this picture, for Indian, this is east and this is west. For African, this is east and this is west. For American, this is east and this is west. For a Japan person, this is east and this is west.
Yes, Prabhu. Now it's fully clear.
East means the point where one sees rising sun. West means the point where one is seeing setting sun.
Okay.
And south means the direction, the noon sun, direction of the noon sun. North means the direction of the midnight sun. So these four are related to the places. Only true north and true south are fixed for everyone, entire universe.
Now this becomes clear. Otherwise, if these are also fixed up, then it becomes a confusion.
No, these are not fixed.
Okay.
That's why since the beginning, I'm saying that these directions are in reference to the place where the Bhagavatam discussion is going on in Shukatal. Okay. Any other devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, this axis of rotation of the sun is also the same. Earlier discussed from Bharadavarsha to the pole star, the axis, and it rotates in the same axis.
Yes. For all the luminous planets, that is the same.
Same. And this angle between this Bharadavarsha and this Meru is less. So we will feel almost the same rotation.
Yes. The angle is
because less. As the Meru mountain is there, when the sun goes to the other side, this Bharadavarsha, if India is facing us and America is the opposite side of that, and the Meru mountain will obstruct the sun?
No, it will not obstruct the sun. Previously, here, when the sun goes to the other side of the Meru will not obstruct. If you remember, we discussed Bharata Varsha is Karma Bhumi, remaining all 8 Varshas are Bhaumasvarga. And we are not able to see all of them because they are heavenly abodes. Since they are heavenly abodes, we can't see them, and sunlight also is not blocked by them. Even in fact, more than this one, very adjacent to Bharatavarsha, we have greater Himalayas, whose height is 10,000 yojanas. They can also very well stop sunlight, but they also do not block. If either the greater Himalayas or Mount Meru blocking sunlight, then on the western side of India, the western side of the earth globe, the America and the western part of Africa and all, they would never have sunlight. So they do not block sunlight.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, do you have any picture or any such animation in which we can see both the sun's rotation and the moon's rotation? Moon being rotating around the earth globe and the sun around the Meru. Is there anything of that kind with you? That gives us a little more clarity, Prabhu.
We are going to discuss that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. So this is how generally the day and night happens. And with the combination of day and night, we will have months. And with the combination of months, we have years. So now let us try to understand how the months and years are formed. For the people on Meru, the sun gives heat at all times. Being situated at midday, the sun keeps Meru to the left and to the right. So while discussing the description of sun's chariot, sun's movements, Sukadeva Goswami briefly mentions in this 8th verse that on top of Meru, people generally have daytime only. And with reference to Meru, the sun keeps Meru both to his left and both to his right. Generally, when we are doing circumambulation around Tulsi Maharani, we keep our right hand towards Tulsi Maharani, left hand is the other side, and we are making circulation. But with respect to sun, it is said that both his right hand also, left hand also are towards Meru. So there is a kind of contradictory statement made by him. So in the 22nd chapter, at the very beginning, Parikshit Maharaj asks a clarification on this subject matter. He says that how sun proceeds with Meru and Dhruvaloka on both his right and left simultaneously. How is this possible? It seems if you are going around him in a clockwise direction, your right hand is towards it. If you are going in counterclockwise direction, your left hand is towards it. How can be both simultaneously? So for which Sukadeva Goswami says that just as the motion of ants on a potter's wheel, when an ant is situated on top of a potter's wheel, when the potter's wheel is moving the clockwise direction, along with the potter's wheel, the ant is also moving around it, around the central post. So ant is moving in the clockwise direction. So its right hand is there towards Meru. But on the potter's wheel, if the ant is moving in the opposite direction, you just take the movement of ant with respect to the pole star, it is going in the counterclockwise direction. So it is keeping left hand to the Mount Meru. Like that, Sukadeva Goswami says, but the same explanation we will discuss in terms of a simple analogy with which we are very much familiar. So in our school days, we have also done, some of us might be doing today and now also, like we go to playground in the morning and run around, some rounds we do. So here I take the example of 3 boys, 1, 2, 3. And they are going around in the ground and they are making rounds in the clockwise direction. Very nice. 3 boys, very energetic, youthful boys, they are doing. So now what I am doing, in order to understand the relative motion, I am dividing the circle into 10 divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the same time, the first division is further divided into 10 subdivisions. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1.0. To understand the relative motion. So now, allow them to run around. When 3 of them are running around a ground, don't expect that they all run with the same speed. After 1 round, this fellow had come to the first initial position, starting position, boy 1. By the time he came to the starting position, this boy 2 is behind by 1%. And this person is behind by 10% of the entire circle, entire distance. And if they are allowed with that particular speed, round after round, after 2nd round, he is behind by 2%, he is behind by 20%. Like that, after 10 rounds, this fellow is behind by 10% and this fellow is behind by 100%. That means when this fellow does 10 rounds, he does 9 rounds because he's moving slowly. And this fellow does 9.9 rounds. And if you allow them further, after this fellow made 11 rounds, this fellow made 9.9 rounds or something like that. This fellow actually is behind by no. This fellow is something like that. He is behind by 11%. He is behind by 1.1%, 1.1 round. So after 100 rounds, if you see, because since this fellow is behind by 1% every round, when he completes 100 rounds, he does 99 rounds. And he does simply 90 rounds only. These are the 3 people who, while running around the playground, this is how they running. 3 of them are starting together. When he did 1 round, he completed 99 rounds, 0.99 rounds. He did 0.9 rounds. Like that, 2 rounds, 10 rounds, 11 rounds, 100 rounds. When he does 100 rounds, he did 99 rounds, lagging behind by 1 round. He does 90 rounds, lagging behind by 10 rounds. So that's what we can see, how much they are lagging. 1%, 2%, 10%, 11%, 100%. So one interesting thing is that at the starting point, all these 3 are together. After 11 rounds, again they are together. If you remember, at 11 round also these 2 people are together. At the beginning they are together. After 11 rounds they are together. And after 100 rounds, and these 2 are together with the first one. So like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Here when we say round means it is a peripheral distance covered, is what we understand?
Circumferential distance covered.
Yeah, okay, fine.
In the circumference we are measuring. So now, in order to understand the movement of the luminaries in the sky, now I am turning out the circle which has been divided into 100 parts into 360 degrees. The circle of 100 divisions is converted into circle of 360 degrees. And the boy 1 is Kala Chakra for me now. The boy 2 is sun. And the boy 3 is moon. Now in reference to Kala Chakra, with respect to Kala Chakra, I will try to understand the movement of sun and moon. This is Kala Chakra with 360 divisions in a circular fashion. 0 degree like that. You can see all 360 degrees. And this is Kala Chakra with 12 Rashis and 27 Nakshatras. This is the entire Kala Chakra which is moving in the clockwise direction day in, day out. And here we have sun and moon. As 3 of them are allowed to move, this is how they are moving. After completing 1 round, when Kala Chakra came back to the original position, the sun is lagging behind by 1 degree, the moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees. Because since he is moving slowly, little slow, he is lagging behind by 13 degrees, he is lagging behind by 1 degree. If they are allowed to go like that for 1 more round, now the sun is lagging behind by 2 degrees, the moon is lagging behind by 26 degrees. Because every round, sun is lagging behind by 1 degree and the moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees. So now please tell me, after how many rounds the moon will come back to the starting position if he is going lagging behind by 13 degrees every round?
After 27.69.
Sorry?
After 11 rounds.
11 rounds. How? If 1 round is lagging behind by 13 degrees, after 11 rounds, how much? 11 into 13.
Okay. 27.69.
Yeah, something like that, 27 plus.
Yeah.
After that many rounds, the moon comes to the starting point. And what about sun? When the sun will come back to the original position? After how many rounds?
360 rounds.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. 1 round lagging behind by 1 degree, 13 degrees. 2 rounds, 2 degrees, 26 degrees. After 30 rounds, he is lagging behind by 30 degrees. He is lagging behind by 390 degrees. So what do you mean by 390 degrees? From here to here 30 degrees and going around and coming to this position is 390 degrees, 360 plus 30. So in 30 days, sun goes from here to here in 30 rounds of Kala Chakra. In 30 rounds of Kala Chakra, the moon goes around and comes here and stands in front of sun. When the sun and moon are together, that is called Amavasya. And eventually, after 30 rounds, when sun and moon again come together to the same degree at the same point, that is called again Amavasya. And like that, if you allow them, when time will complete 360 rounds, the sun completes 360 degrees in the backward and moon completes 13 times 360 degrees. He goes in the backward 13 rounds. And the forward direction he completed 347 rounds and sun completed 359 rounds. This is how we can see how the sun and moon are moving around pole star along with the Kala Chakra. These are the relative motions of. For a normal observer outside, the Kala Chakra, sun and moon are moving in the clockwise direction. When he has done 360, he has done 359, he has done 347. But with respect to Kala Chakra, if you stand on Kala Chakra and see sun and moon, after 360 rounds of Kala Chakra, you see that sun is making one reverse round and moon is making 13 reverse rounds. Same thing in an animation. So the sun and moon are together and they are kind of moving. So as they are moving, the moon is slowly lagging behind. This dotted line indicates how much is lagging behind. So after one round, sun is behind by 1 degree and moon is behind by 13 degrees. This is one round and one more round. If you allow them to move, one more round. So this is 26 degrees from here to here, 26 degrees because this is 30 and this is 26. And you see sun globe little above. This is like 2 degrees from here to the center of sun. The small distance is 2 degrees. So like that, we can see the movement of sun and moon. Thus, the motion of the planets and sun moving with the time wheel, which is moving clockwise around Meru and Dhruva, as seen by the stars, is different from the movement of the wheel of time, since they can be observed moving in different constellations and zodiac signs in the opposite direction. As you see in the previous animation. So slowly, currently sun is moving in this Mesha Rashi. After 30 rounds, he enters into Vrishabha Rashi. After another 30 rounds, he enters into Mithuna Rashi. After another 30 rounds, he enters into Karaka Rashi and Simha Rashi, like that. But moon, just for 2 rounds, he has gone all the way here. Maybe in the next round, he will enter into Vrishabha Rashi. And for example, starting, you see, now the moon is in Ashwini Nakshatra. And very soon, after one round, now moon has come to Bharani Nakshatra. And at the end of the next round, he has come to Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika Nakshatra. Like that, every round, he goes into different nakshatra. So in a normal way, we can see like this. The moon, who is the husband of the 27 daughters of Daksha, who are staying in 27 nakshatras. So moon spends one day with one wife. So first day is spent with Ashwini, second day is spending with Bharani, third day is spending with Rohini and Kritika, then Rohini, like that. This is how the moon is spending his time along with his wife. In 27 days, approximately covers all the 27 nakshatras, spending one day with one of his wife. So something like that. So thus, in a normal observation, the sun and moon are moving in the clockwise direction. But with respect to Kala Chakra, on top of Kala Chakra, the sun and moon are seen to be moving in the counterclockwise direction. So normally they are moving in the clockwise direction, but with respect to Kala Chakra, they are moving in the counterclockwise direction. See like this. Along with Kala Chakra, though it's moving clockwise only, but on top of Kala Chakra, sun every day goes behind by 1 degree. Though the sun moves from east to west in the sky from our point of view, in relation to the zodiac and other stars, the sun appears to move from Aries to Taurus and to other signs. That means Mesha to Vrishabha and eventually Mesha or Vrishabha, other signs in the opposite direction. Thus, the sun can be said to be moving clockwise as well as counterclockwise with respect to pole star and Mount Meru simultaneously. This is from 8 and 9 of 21. So now, with respect to our experience, how we are experiencing, what we have seen till now is theory. That is how generally they are moving. But what we are really experiencing for the people who are in India, here India is here, moon is here and sun is here. Sun is moving on the orbit of 12 Rashis. Moon is moving on the orbit of 27 Nakshatras. After one round, sun is lagging behind by 1 degree, moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees or something like that. After 2 rounds, moon is here, sun is here. After 3 rounds, moon is here, sun is here. After 30 rounds, the moon goes around, comes here, and the sun goes from here to here. After 60 rounds, moon, sun goes here, and moon goes another round and comes here. After 92 rounds, sun moves from here to here, and moon goes 3 rounds around and comes here. After 183 rounds, after 274 rounds, after 366 rounds of the Kala Chakra, sun comes back to the original position and the moon goes around 13 times and also 1/3 extra. He made 13 rounds and also made 1/3 additional round. 13.33 rounds he made in 366 rounds of the Kala Chakra. So now please tell me how many rounds sun had made? When Kala Chakra completed 366 rounds, sun had come to the original point. So how many rounds he had made?
He's made 1 round.
How many? Less than 1. How many? Yeah. Less than 1 means?
By 1 degree, no, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Kala Chakra is making 366 rounds. Then sun comes back to the original position. Then how many rounds sun has finished? (366 minus 1). 365. And that many days we have in a year, as per our experience. And in the meantime, the moon made 13 rounds plus 1/3 round extra. And over 732 rounds, that is 2 years, the moon had made 16.66 rounds. And over 3 years, that is 1098 rounds, the sun made 3 reverse rounds and the moon made 40 reverse rounds. 13.33 plus 13.33 plus 13.33. 40 rounds. Everything in the table. This is the previous table with respect to 1 degree, 13 degree. But in reality, it is like this. So it is not exactly 1 degree and it is not exactly 13 degrees. Instead, it is 0.9836 degrees. It is 13.11475 degrees. So with this variation and with this movement, after 2 rounds, after 27.45 rounds, the sun is lagging behind by 27 degrees. And the moon completed 360 degrees. That means he made 1 complete round. So this is equal to 27.375 days. After every 27.375 days, the moon comes to the starting point, Mesha or Ashwini. And if you go a little bit further, after 29.67 rounds of Kala Chakra, the sun is lagging behind by 29.19 degrees. For every round this much into this many rounds, that is 29.19 degrees. In the meantime, the moon is lagging behind by 360 plus 29.19 degrees. At the starting point, sun and moon are at 0 degree. Now, after 29.59 days, the sun and moon are at the same position. Of course, moon had made 1 round, but still both are same position. This is called Amavasya and this is called Amavasya. So we have Amavasya after every 29.6 days, roughly. Little more than 29.5 days. If it continues further like this, after this many rounds, that means after this many days, after 355.135 days, the sun is lagging behind by 350 degrees, 350.20 degrees, and the moon is lagging behind by 12 rounds plus 350 degrees. So this is the 12th Amavasya. 12th Amavasya means one lunar year. One lunar year gets completed in 355 days, in every 355 days. If you further go a little bit, after 366 rounds of the Kala Chakra, the sun completes 365 days. That means he has done one round. In the meantime, the moon had made 13.33 rounds with respect to Kala Chakra, and with respect to sun, he had made 12.333 rounds. So 12 rounds corresponding to 12 months and 0.33 rounds corresponding to 1/3 month. And after 2 years, 2 into 365 days, the sun makes 2 rounds, the moon makes 2 plus 24.667 rounds. After 3 years, the sun makes 3 rounds and the moon makes 3 plus 37 months. So with respect to Kala Chakra, he has made 40 rounds. And with respect to sun made 3 rounds, he also made 3 plus 37 rounds. That means 3 get cancelled. With respect to sun, in 3 years, the moon had made 37 rounds. That means in every 3 years, there are 37 lunar months. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 1. In every 3 years, we have one additional month, one Adhika Mas, approximately. Here also I have taken approximation because I have taken 1 year is equal to 365 days. But in actually, it is 365.25. I have truncated that 0.25 because otherwise it gets too complicated. So to make it simple like this, I have taken. So this is how the sun and moon are moving around, making 12 solar months and 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 1 lunar months. And what we have discussed till now, everything in a summary, you can see here. These are the 12 zodiac signs, starting with Mesha all the way up to Meena. The starting date and the ending date of these 12 zodiac signs. And 14th April, sun enters into Mesha. And 15th May, sun enters into Vrishabha. These are fixed. Maybe half day here and there. Otherwise, they are fixed. They are the 6 seasons. Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Hemanta, and Shishira. They are the 27 nakshatras in relation to the 12 Rashis. And in the year 2016-17, that is called Durmiki Nama Samvatsara. According to our Telugu vernacular calendar, 60 years have 60 different names. And during Ugadi, during Gudi Padwa or Ugadi, the new year starts for us. The first day of the Chaitra Mas. So the year name is Durmiki in the year 2016, 8th April. That is Chaitra Mas, first Tithi, 8th April. The Chaitra Mas ends on 6th May. And 7th May, Vaishakha starts and 5th June it ends. Like that, the 12th month ends on 28th March. The first month started in 8th April. On 28th March, the last month completed. So if you remember in the previous chart, after 355 days, the moon completes 12 months. This is out of 365 minus 10. 28th March to 8th April is 10 days, almost 10 to 11 days. This is like 355 days. The first lunar year completed. And second lunar year began. That is called Hevilambi, 29th March. And it is ended on 17th March. Completed. And 18th March, third year started. And 6th March, the 12th month also ended. 18th March to 6th March is like 12 days less. So then, 8th April, the first month started. The 36th month ended on 6th March. And we have sufficient time for next month, 7th March to 5th April. So like that, 8th April, the first month of the first year started, and the last month, the 37th month of the third year ended on 5th April. Still, we have 3 days extra. Because of 1 to 3 days extra additional things, once in a while, we will have additional month after second year only. It will not wait for third year. For example, in 2018 we had Adhika Maas, and then in 2020 we had Adhika Maas, and next we'll have Adhika Maas in 2023, then 26, then 29, and 32, like that it will go on. And by the way, this is not the additional month. The additional month which came in the year 2018 is this one. So in the Jyeshta month, there is extra Jyeshta, there is normal Jyeshta. The first month starting from 16th May to 13th June is the extra Jyeshta, and this is the normal month. The same table you can see in the picture. These are 27 nakshatras, 12 rashis, 6 seasons. The 2018 and 19, the first Vilambi, 2016-17, Durmukhi Nama Samvatsara. It started here. The 12 months completed, one after the other, it ended here. The next year started here and went around 12 months completed, it ended here. This is 10-11 days. This is 10-11 days. And third year started here and 12 months completed. This is another 10-11 days. So 10 days here, 10 days here, 10 days here, all put together. There is enough space for the 37th month. And 37th month ended here. Then again the new year starts here like that. This is how over every 3 years we have one Adhika Maas. And by the way, in the third year, the Adhika Maas is that extra Jyeshta. For a month to be called as a normal month, there should be a Sankranti. Sankranti means sun should be moving from one zodiac sign to other zodiac sign, or one Rashi to other Rashi. For example, take this Chaitra Maas. So month is beginning here and ending here. And during this month, here is the Sankranti. Sun will be moving from Meena Rashi to Mesha Rashi. Even if you take this Chaitra Maas also, sun will be moving from Meena to Mesha. Even if you take this Chaitra Maas also, sun will be moving from Meena to Mesha. So a month to be called as a normal month, there should be a Sankranti. And in 365 days, we have 12 solar months. 365 by 12 is equal to 30.5, almost 30.5. And previously we have seen that the lunar month stays for 29.6 days. And sometimes these 29.6 days will be well within 30.5 days. For example, you see here, here the Sankranti happened. Sun moved from Mesha to Vrishabha. And then Amavasya came. The green line is after the blue line. And after 29.6 days, again another green line came, another Amavasya came. And after a day, it entered into the next month, next Rashi, Vrishabha to Miduna. And this month, this lunar month, Amavasya to Amavasya, does not see any Sankranti. So whichever month does not have any Sankranti is called as Adhika Maas. For example, you see in the table. It is starting on 16th May, ending on 13th June. 15th May, sun entered into Vrishabha. And 16th May, new month started. And the month ended on 13th June. And on 14th June, 14th and 15th June, sun entered into Miduna. So this month, 16th May to 13th June, it is well within one Rashi. So this particular month does not see any solar transition into new Rashi. That's why it is called Adhika Maas. So this is how the concept of Adhika Maas is being explained. So this is the combined movement of sun and moon. The concept of lunar and solar experiment. Here you can see. If the month is having a transition into Mesha Rashi, that is called Chaitra Maas. If the month is having a transition into Vrishabha Rashi, it is called Vaishakha. And like that, all the 12 Rashis are there. And based on the transition, the name of the month is given. Chaitra, Vaishakha, Jyeshta, Ashada, Shravana, Bhadrapada, Ashwini, Kartika, Mrigashira, Pushya, Magha, and Palguna. This is how there are 12 lunar months consisting of one Sankranti. The sun should be moving from one zodiac sign to other zodiac sign, then only it is called a proper month. If there is no transition, that month is known as Adhika Maas or additional month. So here you can see the 12 zodiac signs with their symbols and all the lunar months, etc., etc. So this is how the Kala Chakra makes its movement around. So here is the Earth in the center, and this is how the 12 zodiac signs are there, and sun is traveling from one Rashi to other Rashi, and the moon also moving along with a little slower speed. So that is about the combined movement of sun and moon. As a result of that, we have the manifestation of solar months, lunar months, and additional month, year, like that. It proceeds on and on. Okay? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, thank you so much. Partially I understood a little bit, still confusion, Prabhu. So the Adhikamas, because of the transition taking place from one Rashi to another Rashi, so where it is accumulating, Prabhu, what are all the accumulation that 1 month becoming excess? Some slag must be there, right? Some slag, somewhere, some degree, some portion is.
Forget about the degree. Forget about degree.
Okay.
One Amavasya to another Amavasya, the moon takes 29.6 days. After, this is a fixed time, you can't change it.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
After every 29.6 days, there is Amavasya. Like that, multiply it with 12. After every 355 days, you will complete 12 Amavasyas. 12 Amavasyas means one lunar year. That is within 355 days. And after every 365 days, we have one solar year. That is completion of 12 Rashis. Sun's movement over 12 Rashis. How much is the difference?
Yes, Prabhu. This 355 minus 365, that 10 days in 1 year. So 3 years accumulate, 1 month become excess. Clear, Prabhu. Clear.
So that's what I have shown in the picture.
Yeah.
See, this year is starting here after 355 days. It comes here. The next year starting here after 355 days, the year ends. Next year starts here after 355 days, the third year also ends. That means 12 months ends. Year 10 to 11 days, year 10 to 11 days, year 10 to 11 days. Put together, you will have 33 days, almost 32, 33 days. You have enough space for 1 month.
I did the mistake of calculating it as 30.5. It is 29.5976. Clear,
29.6.
Yeah, thank you.
So like that. Okay. Other devotees able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's pretty clear and very fascinating also.
So now with the same background, let us see how the moon changes its phases, how the moon phases are happening over every one lunar month. Amavasya to Amavasya. So how it changes from Amavasya to Paurnami, Paurnami to Amavasya. So now, the sun is moving in an outer orbit. The moon is moving in an inner orbit. So when the moon and sun are together, that is called Amavasya. So when sun is here, when moon is here, and we are on the earth, we are on the surface of the earth, we are here, for example. When we see into the sky, we see this portion of the moon, always. And when moon is exactly in front of sun, this portion of the moon is bright, and this portion of the moon is dark. And we only see the dark portion of the moon. But by every day, the moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees or so. So with respect to Kalachakra, 13 degrees, the moon is lagging behind and sun is lagging behind by 1 degree. Then with respect to sun, the moon is lagging behind by 12 degrees. This is 1, this is 13, and 13 minus 1, it is 12. So with respect to sun, lagging behind by 12 degrees. So after 1 or 2 days, as the moon is going ahead, and lagging behind, some portion of the moon, which is bright by sun, will be seen by us. So when moon is here, this portion of the moon is bright, but we will see this portion of the moon. Whichever portion of the moon is inside the circle, inside this orbit, we see. So gradually every day, a small arc, which is of 12 degrees in the first day, second day it is 24 degrees, third day 36 degrees, like that is gradually increasing. Eventually over 8 days, 12 into 7, 84, 12 into 8, 96. So somewhere in between at 7.5 days, we will have 90 degrees moon will be seen by us. So since sun is here, this portion of the moon will be bright, and this portion we see bright, and this portion we see dark. Half moon we see after 7 or 8 days. That is Ashtami. Like that, if we allow it further, after 15 days, when the moon comes on the exactly opposite side, then this entire portion of the moon is bright, and this portion of the moon is dark. And from the surface of the earth, we see this portion of the moon is bright. Complete moon we see, that is the full moon that day. And if you allow the moon like that, gradually every day 12 degrees coming down. Here half day, half moon on Ashtami, and gradually coming down. Here again, complete dark. Here complete bright, complete dark, gradually increasing by 12 degrees every day. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, again 90 degrees, 0 degrees. This is how the moon's visibility gradually increasing over 15 days and gradually reduces over other 15 days. So from our place, this is what we see. On the first day, we see the complete black moon. Second day, a small arc, little bigger arc, bigger, half moon, and gradually increasing, full moon, and gradually reducing half moon, and reducing further, small arc, 0. This is how over 30 days in a month, we see 30 different shapes of the moon. Now the same thing in simulation. Kindly see the top view as well as the front view. In the front view, you see the amount of the moon being visible to us. In the top view means you go up and see how it look like. But the front view is what we see from our place, wherever we are. One round, small arc below, small arc of the moon. 2 rounds, little bigger arc. 3 rounds, little more bigger arc. 4 rounds, little more bigger arc. 5 rounds, little more bigger arc. 6 rounds, little more bigger arc. 7 rounds, 7.5 rounds, half moon. Like that, in another 7.5 rounds, it will be full moon. The moon is gradually increasing as seen by us in the bottom view. Now almost 15 days. Now we see full moon. This is a full moon view. Then as we continue, the full view mean will be gradually reducing day by day. Proceeding further, reducing much less than half the moon, gradually coming to 0. This is the last round. So this is like 30 days. In 29.6 days, the moon would complete one lunar month. But since it is half day more, the moon has gone ahead by another 6 degrees or so. This is like 30 days, 30 complete days we have shown here in this picture. So this is how the lunar motion with respect to solar motion is shown, and how we experience the moon keep changing its phases is being indicated in this.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
In this case, the Kala Chakra, the sun and the moon, all of them are rotating in the clockwise direction only. Or?
Yes. All of them are rotating clockwise direction, but within them, there is relative motion.
That is why we find as if it is looking as anti-clockwise.
Yeah. The relative motion is seen as anti-clockwise motion.
Roji, this is, we can feel it when we are traveling. Some train or some other thing which is going faster, we feel like we are going reverse. You know, sometimes the buses also, which is overtaking us, we feel like we are running behind.
Yes.
Similar to that.
Same.
Yeah. Prabhu, one more clarification. So there is also a possibility that Amavasya may occur on a Abhijit star, isn't it?
It can. See, star location is different. Anywhere it can occur. That is not a problem. Amavasya means we are not interested in which star it is happening, which Rashi it is happening. Amavasya means both of them coming together. Same position. The position could be anywhere in the zodiac wheel.
Correct. So my understanding is in each Rasi, sun will be 1 month in each Rasi. So in each Rasi, there must be one Amavasya in a year. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, in each Rasi, there are the 3 stars, which is what you call 9 quarters, 9 padas. Yeah. So that way, in some star, in some quarter, that Amavasya takes place. That is the only possibility.
Yes.
So like that, when they keep on moving, in one particular year or in one particular month, that coincidence of sun and moon should take place in Abhijit star itself.
It can come.
It can come. Yeah. Great. So that excess 27.69 degree, that 69 degree, 13 degree, 13 degree, 13 degree is what you call contributed by Shravana and Uttarashada and Purvashada. These 3 stars. Correct, Prabhu?
Yes.
Okay, Prabhu. Clear. Thank you, Raj.
That is some. So just like we have seen sun and moon are moving around, similarly, all other planets also move around pole star. So we have just seen sun and moon. Similarly, other planets such as Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, they also move around, and Rahu Ketu also move around. These are all some details, not required. They also move around. So we have seen that for every round, sun is lagging behind by 1 degree. The moon is lagging behind by 13 degrees. Similarly, other planets, Venus is lagging behind by 1 degree. Mercury also lagging behind by 1 degree. Mars is lagging behind by 2/3 degree. And Jupiter is lagging behind by 1/12 degree. Saturn is lagging behind by 1/30 degree. And Rahu and Ketu they are leading ahead by 1/18 degree. So these are their respective relative motion with respect to Kala Chakra. If they are allowed to go like that, just like sun is completing 1 round on Kala Chakra in 1 year, moon is completing 1 round in 1 month, almost approximately 27 point some days. Venus and Mercury also complete 1 round in 1 year. Mars completes in 1.5 years. Jupiter completes 12 years, 1 round. Saturn completes in 30 years. And Rahu and Ketu completes 1 round in 18 years. So these are the relative speeds of these respective planets, just like sun and moon are going. So this is the Madhva understanding. And we say that the Shishimara is like dolphin. They say Shishimara is like the scorpion. This is the tail of the scorpion. This is the mouth of the scorpion. And all the planets, they are directly connected to the Shishimara and also pole star. There are 2 axes. Like sun also we have 2 axes like that. One is connected to the pole star. One is connected to the Shishimara. Like that, their movement is controlled by Dhruva and Shishimara. Both of them are controlling. So we'll just see this animation of how these 12 planets are moving. Then we'll close for today's discussion. So the name is here. What we are seeing, that name will come on the top. Now simply one revolution. How all of them are moving, we see. Here is Earth. And here is Ketu. Here we have Rahu. Here is Moon. Here we have Sun. Here is Mercury. Here is Venus. And this is Mars. This is Jupiter. And this is Saturn. In a normal day in, day out, In the morning, they all started here on the same line and they are moving around. Within a day, we don't see them moving here and there. We don't see any relative motion among them. Only moon we can see because it is lying behind by 13 degrees. Remaining all seems to be same. And this is Saptarushi Mandal. They also have different motion. So I have selected 1 month. In 1 month, sun is moving from Mesha Rashi to Vrishabha and moon is going around. Here we are only seeing the relative motion on the time wheel. So this is 1 month. In the meantime, others also moving slowly. The Mercury and Venus are just following sun. Mars is going a little slow. Jupiter is going very slow. Saturn is going very, very, very slow. And one more year, one more month. So month after month, the sun is going from Mesha to Vrishabha, Vrishabha to Midhuna, Midhuna to Karaka. In the meantime, moon is making one complete round. So like this is almost 3 months. So now 1 full year. So focus on the sun. Venus and Mercury following after sun. And Mars is little slower, but following. Jupiter slow. Saturn is very slow. In the meantime, moon makes 13 rounds, 13 full rounds. So by the time sun completed 1 round, Mars is here. Jupiter went by one sign. Now Mars will complete 1 complete round in 1.5 years. Maybe in the top you can see number of years, number of days on the top line. So Mars takes 1.5 years. In the meantime, Jupiter has gone 1.5 zodiac sign. Saturn has come here. Now Jupiter, it will take 12 years to complete 1 round. By the time Jupiter completes one round, the sun makes 12 rounds. It's like that.
Prabhuji, what about the retrogradations? Like some planets, they do retrogression, including Brahaspati, I mean Jupiter, Saturn.
No, Prabhuji, please focus. Don't ask questions. Just see. We'll take questions afterwards. Now Saturn. So Saturn is making one round. In the meantime, Saturn will take 30 years. Na? In the meantime, Sun does 30 rounds. Jupiter does 2.5 rounds. It's like that. And finally, Rahu and Ketu. While everyone is going in the counterclockwise direction, Rahu and Ketu goes ahead of Kala Chakra. They go in the clockwise direction. This is their specialty. They always go in the opposite direction with respect to other people. But by the way, they also take 18 years to complete 1 round. And you also see here this person, Saptarishis are also gradually going behind. Unka bhi lying is there. That is very slow. So this is how the other planets are also going along with Kala Chakra, but with small amount of lagging. Sun we have seen 1 degree per day. But when it comes to Saturn, it is 1/30th degree per day. That means after 30 days, he is lagging behind by 1 degree. After 30 years, he makes 1 round. And Jupiter is lagging behind by 1/12th degree per day. That means after 12 days, he is lagging behind by 1 degree. After 12 years, he makes 1 round. It's like that. And Rahu and Ketu are leading ahead by 1/18th degree after every day. That means after every 18 days, they make 1 degree. After 18 years, they make 1 round. So these are the movements of all these people. So now, by the way, we also saw that Saptarishis are also going behind. So we heard many times in the Bhagavatam and etc. Our 1 year is their 1 complete day. That is what we have heard in the scriptures. So now we'll see how it is. So this is the last slide for today. This is a normal motion. In a normal day, everything is moving along with Kala Chakra in the clockwise direction. So we have said that in 1 day, when sun is starting from here going around, the people in India, when sun is here, it is sunrise for us. When sun comes here, it is noon for us. When sun goes here, it is sunset for us. When sun goes here, at the other side, it will be our, what we can say. So when sun is here, it is sunrise. When sun is here, it is noon. When sun is here, it is sunset. When sun is here, it is midnight. And when sun is here, it is sunrise for us. That is 1 complete day. Similarly, let us see for a person on the Saptarushi Mandal or heaven. will take a person here. In a normal day, this Saptarushi is also moving along with sun, like this only. We don't see any difference for them. But now we select 1 year. In 1 year, what happens? So this person who is here is there only, but sun is going around. And previously he had noon, now it is sunset for him. And now it is midnight for him. Now it is sunrise for him. And now it is noon for him. So our 1 year is 1 day for a person who is in the heaven. So because sun is making 1 round around heaven. Just like in 1 day, sun is making 1 round around earth. So 1 complete round is like 1 day for anyone, anywhere they are. So now 30 years are selected. In 30 years, the Saptarushis will move from 1 zodiac sign to other zodiac sign. For us, sun moving from 1 zodiac sign to other zodiac sign is 1 month. For Saptarushis, they are moving from 1 zodiac sign to other zodiac sign is 1 month for them. So their 1 month is equal to our 30 years. So, of course, we have taken the reference of Saturn. Saturn will take 30 years. And now we have chosen 360 years. In 360 years, what is happening? The Saptarushis will go from 1 zodiac sign to other zodiac sign like that. In 360 years, they complete the movement in all the 12 zodiac signs. That is their 1 complete year. Their 1 complete year is equal to our 360 years. So that's how our 6 months is daytime for heaven. Our other 6 months is nighttime for heaven. So like that, our full year is equal to their 1 full day. Our full 30 years is their 1 full month. Our full 360 years is their 1 full year. This is how the day and nights are different in the heaven. Just like in the moon, we have seen that our 15 days is daytime for them. Our 15 days is nighttime for them. The Shukla Paksha, Krishna Paksha, they are varying. So something like that. So this is how the different people will have different day times and night times, different years, different months, etc. On the Jupiter, whoever is living, their daytime is, of course, their daytime, this is 1:12 times now. Our full, their daytime will be for 6 days, their nighttime will be for another 6 days. And over 12 days, they have 1 complete day. Over 12 years, they have 1 complete year. In the Saturn, their daytime is for something like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So if please correct my understanding. We understand that the moon is orbiting around the earth, keeping earth as the center.
Yes.
And the sun is orbiting, keeping the Meru as the center.
No. Eventually, it is keeping earth only at the center.
Oh, then my correction. Okay, fine.
Not only the moon and sun, in fact, all the planets, all the luminaries keeping the earth in the center and moving around it.
Okay. So if earth is the center, then how can the sun actually go on the other side of the Meru? Because other side of the Meru, it is going as what we saw in the Manasutara mountain.
Yes.
That would not be possible, isn't it?
Why not?
Because we are at an offset from Meru to the southern side.
How much is that offset?
Like, for example, we are on the southern side now, Prabhuji. So
fine. Southern side only, that offset is only 50,000 yojanas. But the radius of the sun's orbit is 12 million yojanas. In 12 million yojanas, 50,000 is negligible. It is delta. You can neglect it. It is as good as not there.
Okay. Fine. But for the other planets?
For everyone it is like that. Only for moon, he is only on the one side of the Meru. Remaining all, their orbits are much bigger. So they will be always outside, much at far distant. They can very well, for them there is no difference between location of Earth and Meru. They are almost same.
Okay. Okay. So for our understanding now, moon is the only one which is centered around, technically centered around the Earth, whereas the rest of the planets, they are centered around Meru, but their orbits are widespread. So it is exactly like how the sun is situated. So it is negligible in terms of its reference.
Yes.
Okay.
Prabhuji, please correct me if I'm wrong. All these planetary systems are like the Shishimara is like a pivot and then revolving around the Shishimara, correct?
Yeah, Shishimara, which is connected to the pole star. So
correct,
in essence, everyone is moving around pole star.
Yes. So at the top, pole star is at the center. So the below, they are all revolving in different speed and different orbits.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If there are no queries, we'll stop here. And I don't see any communication in the group. So there are little more is there about the Uttarayana, Dakshinayana seasons and eclipse. So we'll discuss that on Friday. Friday will be our last session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Today's session was very, very exciting.
This animating software, we can able to get it, Prabhu.